What's going on and welcome back. We are back at it again today on Project Stepchild. We got slowed down just a little bit on some of the other suspension parts, but today we're going to tackle the rear camber links, hopefully get those installed and get the rear of the car back on the ground, because then we need to do the front camber plates and the suspension will be done. Now I'm going to try to do some kind of backyard or shade tree alignment to hopefully keep everything somewhat aligned so that I can drive the car a little bit, or at least get it to the alignment shot when I'm ready to do that. So I'm not going to ramble. We're going to get at it. We're going to get to installing these rear camber links and then we'll work our way to the front. So here we go. All right, so as you saw, we did get the passenger side adjustable camber arm in, and I wanted to kind of go over what I did and show you kind of how I'm setting it up, you know, to where hopefully when I set the car down, it'll be about where it was. So let me get you in here so you can see. I know you couldn't see the inside bolt. I know you couldn't see that where the camera was, so let me get you inside. Let me show you that and show you a couple installation notes and then how I'm kind of judging where the camber is right now. Okay, so if you can see through there, you can see where the bolt comes through there. It's kind of a pain to get to. You can get to it. I've dealt with things that were, you know, kind of a worse install than this, but it is kind of a pain to get because you can't really see what you're doing. But you're going to reuse the factory bolt. That's the Delrin bushing in there. It just goes through and you just torque it down. That one is torqued to, I believe, 84 foot-pounds. It's kind of hard to get a torque wrench in there. So I'm not sure if my torque value is correct. I did tighten it by hand, kind of get a feel. 84 is not a whole lot, so I'm pretty sure it's tight enough. And also you want to make sure that the arm is all the way inboard. The bolt hole is slotted, so you want to make sure this arm is all the way inboard, so it's basically got nowhere else it can go, and that way you don't lose adjustment, you know, later on if, you know, it were to come loose a little bit. And then out here, I don't know if you may have noticed, but the stock bolt here was actually going through that way on the stock arm. With the Steeda arm, you actually want to come through this other way and install. They do provide a washer on this side to go up against the spherical bearing. The bearing is held in place and your actual rod end can pivot if it needs to or whatnot. So that one there, I believe, is torqued to 76 foot-pounds. That's the basic install. It's not terrible. It's just that inner bolt is kind of a pain. Now you do have these lines going through, which I had to get around as well underneath there. Now the driver's side, I heard, or I've seen that, you know, the fuel filler tube runs, you know, across that area, so that may give some trouble. So let me show you basically what I'm doing to kind of get it where it was with the stock camber arm on the car and the suspension basically hanging. I put a angle finder up against the brake rotor. Now the emergency brake or the parking brake, it is engaged, so it's holding that rotor still. It is not allowed any movement right now. And I basically just looked to see where the angle was, which was, I don't know if you can see, I know there's a glare on there. The angle was about 88. So what I did is when I installed the new arm, got it tightened on the inside and then tightened the outside, checked it. It was actually off a little bit, so I did adjust the turnbuckle and then tighten everything down, tighten the jam nuts down, but got it back to 88 where it was before. I think it was around 89, so that should put us about where we were before, and or at least enough to get us to the alignment shop and, you know, won't wear the tires out, which I don't plan on doing a ton of driving between now and then. I'm going to get it to the alignment shop as soon as I possibly can because I want to get it set up. As long as I get the camber plates installed up front, got to get those done. Anyway, let me get the driver's side buttoned up and I'll be right back to wrap this up. Driver's side is done as well, and I wanted to just show you what I was talking about with the fuel filler tube, which is this guy right here. And as you can see, he runs underneath here. Not sure if I can get you in to see. I can't even really see the bolt, but he's kind of in the way of getting to the nut that's on the bolt that runs through the camber arm up there. Basically I could only get a wrench in there, an 18mm wrench. That's all I could get in there, and unfortunately I don't have a ratchet wrench. So if you plan on doing this, I would definitely invest in an 18mm ratchet wrench. It'll make your life a whole lot easier. You can only get about maybe a quarter turn at a time on that nut, and you know, it just takes a whole lot longer. It got done obviously with just a wrench, but I would suggest a ratchet wrench. But that's it, we got them on, and we're going to set the wheels back on, and we're going to take a look at the toe and see what that looks like. All right, so we got the car buttoned back up, obviously wheels back on it. We're driving down the road. I don't want to drive it too far because I know the alignment is off in the rear, and I was going to try to do like a string method, you know, but I couldn't really figure out how exactly to do it for the rear. I don't know. I'm not sure how I could even possibly do it at home, so I'm just going to take it down the road for a little bit. I wanted to, you know, listen for any noise. You know, I want to check for any NVH. I know it's going to have some. I've already heard a little bit. It does make a few little weird sounds, but I know everything is tight. I know everything was installed correctly, so I'm just going to drive it down the road, just kind of listen, get a feel for the car, and really want to see how these shocks feel. I don't know if I can get a good feel for them, you know, just kind of driving down the road real quick. But you know, I just wanted to kind of feel the car, you know, and just drive it. So, but we will have to get it aligned. Once I put the camber plates on the front, I know it's going to be way out of whack, so I have no choice but to get it aligned, which I need to anyway because I want it set up more for a drag type of, you know, alignment. So just gonna drive it down the road here for a minute and just kind of see how it feels. You know, I want to, everybody raves about these Viking shocks, so I want to see if I can feel a difference, you know, maybe with acceleration or whatnot. I've got the shocks set up as suggested on the Mustang 6G forums. I've got the compression set on 3, rebound set on 5. I guess that's kind of just a street setting. We'll see. I mean, I've got a lot to learn about those shocks and, you know, how to set them and, you know, get them set up. Obviously, when I go to the track, it's going to be set totally differently, so that we can hopefully plant the power. But as for kind of an update, the transmission is feeling better. I've got probably roughly 350 miles or so on it. The clutch is feeling better. It's still a bit chattery off the line, which is to be expected. But it is feeling better. So I can't wait to get some fluid for the transmission to change that, to see how that feels after a fluid change. But not much difference from before, just normal driving. I do hear a little bit of noise, but you know, from what I understand, that's to be expected. A lot of people say that with the Vikings, they make noise. I don't know if that's it. You know, I don't know what it is exactly, but I mean, I can hear a little something back there. No big deal. Like I said before, you know, I could care less. I just want this car to be able to put the power down and run some good numbers. So the little bit of noise that I hear, man, I can live with that. Pretty good. Everything felt really smooth. That was pretty wild. Like super smooth. So finally the rear suspension is done. Just need the alignment. Now we've got to work on the camber plates up front, which I will probably tackle tomorrow. I did get a new spring compressor for that, but man, that's going to do it for today. I'm glad I got the rear suspension done finally. I can't wait to get these camber plates on and get this thing aligned, because then it will be ready for the track. Just need a fluid change for the transmission. It will be good to go, and that fluid should be here in just a few days. So I'm going to be ready for the track. We got to go at least once natural aspirated. Now the only problem is this whole coronavirus thing. If I can't get to the track, maybe I'll have to order a draggy and we'll go to Mexico and see what we can do. I don't know. We'll have to see. Can't really call it just yet, but hopefully I'll be able to go to the track. I need to check and see if any of them are open. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's going to do it. The rear suspension done. Like I said, stay tuned. Camber plates next, and we're getting there and we'll be ready. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and we'll see you on the next one.